I'd like to welcome everyone to the discussion today. I'm Steve Toll, the Care Enhancement Specialist with Comfort Care Home Care, where we discuss all kinds of things that are related to dementia or just generally care, every aspect of care. So any aspect of care we're going to be talking about over this series of discussions. And today, I'm fortunate to have Claudia Rickard, the English therapist, with us today. And we're going to have a discussion. And here's Claudia. Claudia, can you say hello and sort of tell a little bit about yourself?
So yes, hello everybody. So I am Claudia Rickard, the English therapist, and I'm also a Nightingale dementia consultant. So as you can hear, I'm English, and which hence the English therapist bit. And I've only lived here for nearly 2 years now, but I absolutely love America. I'm really enjoying myself here, and yes, you have much better weather than we get in England.
So what is it that brought you to America? Why did you decide to make the move?
Well, I used to live in America. I used to live in Virginia, actually, and I did first grade, second grade, third grade, and I played all the time. We had a lake at the bottom of the garden, and I used to row, and we used to fish, and we had freedom, and it was wonderful. We played out at night, catching the fireflies, and I loved it. And then I went back to England when I was 9, and I went straight into boarding school, and play suddenly sort of stopped. Now I have come back. I always said I would come back to America, and I've come back to relive my childhood. So I don't live too far away from Jordan Lake, and so yes, and I just love it. I love America. It's my happy place. So I'm living here now. Yes.
That sounds like a good reason to make a move so you can have more play. That's great. I think that's something that we all don't have enough of. So that's a great thing. And so I understand, that you work with hypnotherapy among other disciplines, and you mentioned about a Nightingale dementia consultant. There's a lot of information there. Can you let us know first of all, what is hypnotherapy, and how does that relate to the work you're doing with people with dementia?
Okay, so a lot of people get the wrong idea about hypnotherapy. They always think that we're going to make somebody cluck like a chicken or dance around and do something ridiculous. That is not the case. To me, that's not ethical hypnotherapy. I'm a clinical hypnotherapist, and we deal with issues. Now, what we do is we tap off the left side of the brain through relaxation, and that is where the logical side of us is. And we enter into the right side of the brain, which is our creative side, our sort of more dream side, if you like. So it's a bit like tapping off our disbelief and utilizing our imaginations. Now, we all do that all the time. Any time that you watch a movie, and I mean, when you think about it, there was Superman. Yes, of course that man can fly. We're not, and if you're watching a Disney film, yes, no problem, animals can talk. So we are using our imaginations all the time. What about E.T.? When we think about this little man, and we're all crying. Everybody was in a state of hypnosis then. We were all in an altered state of being, because you're utilizing your imaginations. So it's nothing to worry about. Everybody is always in control. I cannot get somebody to give me their numbers, their PIN numbers. It just doesn't work, because we have a critical factor inside us that says, no, I'm not doing that. So
So it sounds like you're saying that hypnotherapy in a way is like directing the imagination.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And it's because in that side of our brain, the right side, it's where all our habits, dreams, and memories are stored. And that's where we can utilize them, reframe them if necessary, but we use them. And when I'm using it with the hypnosis within somebody who living with dementia, it's because we can tap into the side where they are at peace, where they're relaxed. There's times where they stay on a beach and they can feel the sun on their head and the shoulders, and there's a gentle breeze, caressing their skin, and it's all very, very lovely, and they're feeling safe and calm. And when they're not doing that, they're not doing anxiety and fear.
So I know that sounds great. I know that there is a lot of scientific evidence about, how the brain, neuroplasticity, and how the brain can change, based on what we can do. And I know at one time it was thought that, for instance, someone with dementia couldn't learn anything new or couldn't improve in any way their cognitive process. Can you speak on that? Is it possible with this type of intervention to make a change?
Absolutely, absolutely. Because we do something. So in hypnosis, so first of all, when somebody is having the hypnotherapy, they go into a hypnagogic state. Okay, and let me explain that. Their eyes are going left and right, so that's like rapid eye movement. And when they're doing that, they're producing they're getting a shot of acetylcholine, and this is absolutely brilliant for building up the brain synapses. Okay, is what many of us are able to do every night anyway, because we have rapid eye movement, and that's when we pocket things that have happened to us during the day. However, when people have dementia, they tend not to sleep so well, and they don't go into deep state. So they then end up not getting the rapid eye movement. But when they're in hypnotherapy, they do get the rapid eye movement. And it has been scientifically proven, yes, that hypnotherapy can slow down the progression of dementia. And we can also do something while somebody is in hypnotherapy, is use spaced retrieval. Now, what we're doing then is, in the hypnotic state, we might be saying, and what is your daughter's name? Because people can still talk in hypnosis, so they'll say the name. Your daughter's name is Frances. So your daughter's name is Frances. What is your daughter's name? And the person is going, Frances. What is your daughter's name? Frances. And you repeat that and repeat that. And time in hypnotherapy is so it equates to like 3 hours worth of work. So if somebody had a 30-hour session of hypnotherapy, and they say had that nice relaxed state, almost equals 3 hours of sleep or 3 hours of work. So it works so much quicker and more effectively and efficiently, so to do things like that. And that's why, yes, the brain is plastic, and it really can work. We also relearn things. We also and learn new things now, because we give brain coaching exercises as well. We don't just do the hypnotherapy, and we educate people on their diet. A lot of people know this anyway, but we recommend a more Mediterranean style diet, blueberries, dark chocolate over 79%, just a couple of slices, using coconut oil, turmeric, adding that 1/4 teaspoon a day to your daily diet. Now, and because of the brain coaching exercises, I literally, on this Sunday, when I was seeing one of my clients, I was thrilled. I sat down, you could tell the atmosphere was so different in the house. And she said, I've learnt your number. And my telephone number, and she said it. And I was just like, oh, my heart was full. I nearly cried. And she said, well, I've learnt it in case I ever need you. And I just went, that's brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic. And, because we do the Montreal cognitive assessment with our clients at the beginning, at the 4th session, and then again at the 6th, and she wasn't scoring great, but do you know what, she actually she remembers my telephone number. Oh, and she remembered it was my birthday, and she rang me. And her son
that sounds like progress.
Oh, I was delighted. Yeah, I mean, she really liked me as well.
That's great. So just, when you're working with someone with dementia, and of course there are all stages of dementia, can you work with someone in later stage dementia with this? Where does it actually cut off?
Okay, well, we don't just work with the person living with dementia, we work with the family and the caregivers. So it's, and you would be, so a lot of people think that people might have dysphasia, say, then they are unable to talk anymore. People can still They can, you can sing. The talking is in a different side of the brain. It's in the Brox and Wernicke center. That's on, I can't remember actually which side, might be the left, but it's the singing is in a different part, and they can still remember to sing. They can still sing, and you can sing to them as well. And people still have movement. They never lose the flow, and they can still listen to music, and they can still enjoy life. They can still live well with dementia. And it's about putting those smiles on people's faces and taking away those frowns. And yes, so we guide the families into, if people are having hallucinations and things like that, we help them with sort of like staying in somebody's reality. And again, just best ways, best practice of how to deal with somebody living with dementia. And yeah, it does, it all helps, it's support. And we bring it, you've got to bring in the humor. We need to enjoy still what we have and give people the, you know, their purpose. What can they do? Not what can't they do, or what can they do? What do they enjoy? And if they're talking about something, you know, whatever off the wall, just go with it. Yeah, that's nice, that's interesting. And just try and guide it back to something else, but always back to something that's fun.
That's great. So can you, I know you mentioned about visiting a client, and I guess that's a in-person kind of a thing. Is this something that can be done virtually? Can you have a session over Zoom?
Yes. So yes, I can. Absolutely. Because I see people, there's people all over and in the UK and all, wherever. So yes, it's the reason why I prefer in person is because then you can see the environment that they're in. So I can see if there's any shadows. I can see if there's too much red. Red is not a great colour for people living with dementia. It can, because it always reminds us of red toadstools, the stop sign, it's like a you know, the exit. It can cause anxiety. So it's best not to have too much red around. I mean, I know Christmas can be difficult, but you know, Valentine's Day can be difficult, but it's about just not having too much red. Now again, but it's the shadows. Are they going to get knock into things? Is there too many patterns? So we look at the floor coverings, and again, the bathroom. If you have a gentleman who is, you know, the gentlemen, they stand up and they go get, you know, into the toilet, into the basin. Well, actually, if the basin is white and the wall is white and the floor is white, because people, they might, you know, that they start to lose sort of well, where to aim basically because of the spatial thing, and everything's white. So just go anywhere that's white. Now, if you had a blue wall or a green wall, and if you had a brightly coloured ping pong ball in the basin, well, they're going to have a much better chance of aiming right.
That's great. Sort of simple little advice that can make all the difference in the world. So you mentioned that you are a Nightingale dementia consultant. So what does that really mean, and how does that affect the work you do?
Okay, so Dr. Daniel Nightingale. So he is the doctor, and I did his diploma in this. So he is the one that scientifically proved that hypnotherapy can slow down the progression of dementia. And he works within the Barrow Institute in Arizona. He is actually English, but he works in Arizona, and the Barrow Institute, he works with them as well. So neurologists, actually, they have all of our numbers over there, and in the Barrow Institute. And if there's so yeah, and then they can call on one of us. I'm not the only one. I am the actually only one in North Carolina, but there are, I think, 14 of us worldwide. And it means that people can call on us. There is the website, www.nightingaledementiaconsultants.com. And there's various, as I say, because, you know, I'm not the only one. And you can ask one of us to talk to you, to help you, to guide you, and we will see you for sessions. As I say, on Zoom or in person. And we will do an agreed shared action plan with the family or the caregivers, and we will, using true person-centered care all the time, making sure the person feels as though it's all about them, that they're the star of the show. And again, it's all about reducing fear and anxiety. And again, we know everybody's an individual, so it's going to be what we need to work with them on in their particular thing. So yeah.
That's great. So you're customizing the care for the need, and you know, providing something that sounds like it could be very helpful to people.
Yeah.
That's
it's
great.
very rewarding. Very rewarding.
So how would someone go about getting in touch with you?
So I have my website, which is www.claudiarickardndc.com. So they can find all my details on there. Now, I also have a free e-guide on there. It's called Stress Relief Kit. It is actually for the caregiver, and that will give them some tools, and it will also give them 3 recordings to listen to, because it is so important for the caregiver to do the opposite of stress. And it is very hard work, and people often forget that the caregiver really does need looking after and caring for, because so often it's the caregiver that can get ill as well, and that's not good. The good thing is that when we work with them, we work because they have to also do the brain coaching exercises with their loved one. So what are they doing? They're using their brain as well. Because they're preparing meals and eating together, they're eating healthily as well. Because they'll need to be getting their loved one exercising, they will be exercising as well. And because they need to be they'll be doing self-hypnosis every day, or listening to one of my recordings that I'll give that's tailored to the person living with dementia. But no matter what, they will listen to it as well. Guess what? They're doing the opposite of stress. So actually, it's a win-win. They are also looking after themselves by default.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for sharing this great information today. And we'll put your contact information up on the screen for people to check out your website and take a look at those free tools and resources that you have available. Claudia, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure talking with you today, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
Excellent. Thank you very much for having me, Steve.
And thanks everybody for joining us today.
Yes, thank you.